For 3 centuries, the ancient dragon Vir had lived without sight. He rested in a wide meadow just beyond the edge of the human settlement on Kepler, 442b, his once brilliant scales faded into a dull ash tone, his vast wings folded tightly against his immense body. Over time, the colonists had come to accept him as part of the landscape, less a living being and more a relic of history. He was a reminder of an old war, a pact sealed long ago and never broken. Children would quietly place fruit near his talons. Adults offered respectful bows when passing by. Yet none truly spoke to him anymore. None except Lena Hartwell. At only 12 years old, Lena had begun visiting the meadow every afternoon for the past 2 weeks. Since the day her grandmother died, she found herself drawn to the silent dragon. On her first visit, she had seen something no history record ever mentioned: Vir was crying. Thick tears slipped from his clouded, sightless eyes, and the sight had struck something deep in her chest. Dragons weren't meant to weep. Not beings this old. Not ones who had once bargained humanity's survival before the Galactic Council. "Does it hurt?" Lena asked on the 15th day, sitting cross-legged beside his massive head. Vir's voice rolled like distant thunder. "Which pain do you mean, little one? The blindness, or the loneliness?" Lena hesitated. "Both." A low sound escaped him, almost a laugh. "The blindness is ancient. I learned to live with it. The loneliness is newer, and far sharper." She pulled her backpack onto her lap and opened it carefully. Inside were dozens of small bottles, each labeled in her grandmother's shaky handwriting, old remedies and forgotten formulas. One bottle, smaller than the rest, shimmered strangely in the light of the twin suns. "My grandma made medicine," Lena said softly. She believed old earth plants remembered how to heal. Vir tilted his head slightly toward her voice. "Your grandmother understood truths many have forgotten." "But, can I try?" Lena asked. "Please." The dragon was silent for a long moment. Then, slowly, he lowered his massive head to the grass. "For kindness," he said at last, "I will allow myself to hope once more." Lena's hands trembled as she carefully uncorked the tiny bottle. Just as her grandmother's notes instructed, she let 3 drops fall into each of Vir's blind eyes. The liquid shimmered as it touched his scales, glowing faintly like trapped starlight. For a brief heartbeat, nothing happened. Then Vir screamed. The sound tore through the settlement, rattling buildings, scattering birds, and triggering every warning alarm within 3 kilometers. Lena stumbled backward in shock, her heart pounding with fear. Had she hurt him? Had she made everything worse? But Vir wasn't thrashing. He wasn't roaring in pain. He was perfectly still. His massive head lifted toward the sky, wings twitching as if caught between worlds. Slowly, he lowered his gaze back toward Lena, and his eyes burned with blazing golden fire. "I see," he whispered, his voice breaking. "By the eternal flame. I see." Lena's fear melted into breathless joy. It worked. It actually worked. Vir stared at her, not past her, not through her, but truly at her. "What did you give me, child?" She picked up the bottle, squinting at the faded label. "It says, essence of phoenix tears mixed with morning dew gathered at Earth's last dawn. I don't really know what that means." The dragon froze. "Your grandmother," he said slowly. "Where did she obtain this?" "She was a botanist on the colony ships," Lena replied. "She saved seeds, samples, pieces of earth. She said she was preserving its memory." Her voice faltered. "Was it wrong to use it?" Vir's laughter burst forth, deep and powerful, like thunder and music intertwined. "Wrong?" he said. "Child, you have returned something I believed lost forever. And in doing so, you may have altered the fate of your entire species." Lena stared at him, confused. "I don't understand." The dragon rose, unfolding his colossal wings until they blocked the twin suns. 300 years ago, I held a collapsing wormhole open so humanity could flee a dying Earth. For that mercy, the Galactic Council blinded me. My people called it punishment for choosing compassion over power. His golden eyes burned brighter. Yet you healed me with nothing but kindness and Earth's memory. 4 days later, the sky above Kepler 442b changed forever. 13,000 dragon ships emerged from hyperspace, filling orbit with vessels forged of living metal and ancient design. Colony defense systems activated instantly, but before a single weapon could fire, Veer rose into the sky to meet them. From the observation deck, Lena watched as her friend flew to confront the armada. She couldn't hear what was said, but she saw the moment everything shifted. The lead ship powered down its weapons, then another, and another, until silence ruled the void. When Veer finally returned hours later, he landed in the central plaza where half the colony stood frozen in fear. "My kin have come," he announced. "Not to conquer, but to speak." He turned his glowing gaze through the crowd until it found Lena. "You healed one of us when it would have been easier to look away. You showed compassion to a being abandoned by his own people, without seeking reward or recognition." The lead dragon ship descended gracefully, its hull opening as dozens of dragons emerged, their scales painted in every imaginable color. For generations, Veer continued, the Galactic Council questioned whether humanity deserved a place among the elder races. Today, my people offer an answer. Not subjugation, but alliance. Not tolerance, but true partnership. Above them, all 13,000 ships spread their wings, turning the sky into a canopy of light and metal. All of this, Veer said, because one child refused to let an old dragon cry alone. Lena felt the empty bottle in her pocket and smiled, finally understanding. The true magic had never been the medicine. It had always been the choice to care.